Warning! The following podcast contains strong language which some listeners may find offensive. If you do,
Up yours! That's only if you don't listen to the podcast. Otherwise, not up yours.
did you know the Untitled Wrestling Podcast is on all of the social media outlets? Give us a like, follow, share, subscribe, or even a review if you're feeling generous. Facebook and YouTube at Untitled Wrestling Podcast, Twitter, Twitch and Discord at Untitled Rest Pod.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. It is Wednesday. Ooh, you know what that means. It's a day late. It's probably a good thing considering what's happened in the last sort of 24 hours in the world of pro wrestling. We'll get onto that. What's more important is I've got some very special guests. I'll say the special guests. They're here every week. It's Jay and Faye.
Are we not special?
I mean, you are special, but like, well, no, because, well, I don't know.
Wow.
Like, well,
I'm part of the fucking furniture at this point.
How do you define special? Like, because if
I'm like a frayed bit of wallpaper in a room that you just don't want to get rid of.
Like,
I'm going to tell your mum that you said that I'm not special.
You know the greatest cereal of all time is Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right?
Is it?
But if you have that for breakfast every day, it's not special, is it? If you have it like on a Saturday, that's special.
I'd like to say actually it's Magic Spoon because I want them to sponsor us, so we get.
I've heard like horrendous things about Magic Spoon. So
what's Magic Spoon?
It's a cereal in America that's basically made of nothing. It's like no gluten, no anything, no sugar. It's like the cereal equivalent of vaping.
I'm gonna have to have a look at this now.
But it looks so tasty.
No, I look so tasty, mate. Come on, play the game.
Well, you'll be tasty, but
how are we all? By the way, how are you, Faye? Let's start with you.
I am good. This is my first full day back in work, so like I've had like 2 half days because I had to go to the dentist. Then Matthew had to go to the dentist. It's not been a fun week, but you know, I'm looking forward to the weekend because I'm going to Arcane's for Matthew's birthday on Sunday.
Bonus, yeah. I've not been to Arcane, so please do tell me how it is.
It's delightful.
I almost ended up in Arcane's with Andy from Pubs before Big Gay Brunch, and then we realised that we'd probably missed like the first like half of the show because we'd be too busy.
You realised the show had already started by the time you left Baltic Market, and so you probably had to get straight to the show.
Given that me and Andy both love Tekken, and we'd probably go to play Tekken and then be like...
The difference is that he's good at Tekken.
How dare you?
Wow.
How dare you?
I mean, I'm not saying you're not good, but he plays in like competitive tournaments.
I'm good at Tekken. I can hold my own. Is
that like how we all thought we were good at Rocket League until Mark came in and schooled as well?
Worry about it.
I need Mark and Tom to play Rocket League. Tom is very good at Rocket League.
Mark's like a witch. He flies. Yeah. He doesn't touch the floor.
Mark O'Connor is like a game genie fucking aficionado at Rocket League. He nearly made Aaron rage quit because he was that much better than him.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Love that.
Exciting week lined up. Jay, how are you? Have you recovered from your Prince escapades?
No. I had to go to my induction at my shoot job, even though I started it like 6 months ago because the office had been closed.
Is it not flooded anymore?
It's no longer flooded.
That's good.
But as you know, because it's a very large building, to get to the second floor, you've got to go through 8 flights of stairs, which is upsetting because I am situated on the second floor.
That doesn't mathematically work.
Well, it's weird because it's like the stairs are kind of like half stairs. If that makes sense.
Right. Okay.
So there's like a little mezzanine between each floor.
Pretentious.
So, I mean, at least there's a very nice steak restaurant in the same building, which is, you know.
I don't know if that's there anymore. Oh, do you mean? I know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't want to give away where you work. You know.
That is there. I could. To be honest, the worst thing yesterday when I got out was I was walking down the road, which I won't say, and it was windy, and a specific Korean takeaway place was just wafting towards me. And
I need to go there. I still haven't been.
You never been?
No.
I'd already like planned like my lunch, and had it ready like at home for when I got back. I was just smelling it like, God damn.
I might go there on Friday.
God damn you! I mean, I could go there whenever because I literally live in town. So.
Could. If you walk down that road on a windy day, I mean, that fucking smell travels. I was literally like, you know, in Tom and Jerry when they put like the cake on the windowsill. I was literally like that, like just like, what is that smell? And I walked past it, and there was like loads of people outside. I was like, damn it. But yeah,
awesome. Right, just to sort of lay the stall out for this episode, we all went to Big Gay Brunch on Friday. Just gone. We're not going to talk about it today, not because we didn't enjoy it. We all had a lovely time. But we have a special guest coming on next week's podcast to talk about it, who was also there. So we're going to sort of park that, and we're going to talk about it in depth and give it the time it deserves, because we've also got a shitload of other things to talk about, which
Been a quiet week.
It's been a quiet week in wrestling. It's been a quiet day in wrestling. Like, nothing's happened in the last like 3.5 hours. It's currently, just the idea, it's currently 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. We are racing to get this recorded, edited, and uploaded before tonight's Dynamite comes on. And yeah, should we start with news, because it's been a big news day, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, earlier today we knew it was coming. We all knew it was happening, but just a random tweet just went out on Twitter from TNT, the TV channel, and said that.
So it wasn't a random tweet.
Oh no, I know they were having like a thing, weren't they? But it wasn't like on the show. It wasn't like on Dynamite. It wasn't like during the.
It wasn't a big announcement.
So to be fair, on Dynamite, Tony did say there's going to be a big announcement happening on Wednesday, and we're gonna like basically have more to talk about off the back of this announcement. So essentially, like, this time of the year is when a lot of like TV networks and entertainment and media companies kind of do the sort of like end of financial year review and then talk about what they've got coming up in the new financial year. And today was Warner Brothers one, which is where the big announcement came. And I think it's safe to say we're all excited about this. Nick Houseman was covering it. Do you want to go back into it, Tasty?
Yeah, so I've got the actual like press release up. So I'm not going to read it all because it's fucking massive.
Wordy boy.
It's a big boy. So it says TNT launches a second night of wrestling with AEW Collision. Wait, did this on Rampage? Oh, so it's TNT, isn't it? So it's going to be Rampage in this. So it's like a double. It's weird that it's like TBS on Wednesday and then like Friday, Saturday on TNT. But yeah, hey. So TNT launches second night of wrestling with AEW Collision, this is interesting, featuring headliners Thunder Rosa, Miro, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Andrade El Idolo.
Yeah.
So it's basically all the people who've been bitching about their position in the company for the last like 6 months, plus Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs. And that's going to kick off on Saturday the 17th of June. It's rumoured, and I think it's not been confirmed, but it's heavily rumoured and almost pretty much all confirmed to be taking place in Chicago, the first episode.
Wonder why?
They haven't officially announced anything, but they've said that one of the first episodes will be in the United Center. It's weird because obviously, like, the second episode is technically the go home episode before Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
And obviously that's where Forbidden Door was last year. So you'd think, why wouldn't they have done Forbidden Door there again this year if they were going to do something like that? It wouldn't surprise me if it was the first episode. That's Phil's home address, he said to Okada on Twitter.
Yes, yeah.
Just lives there, doesn't live anywhere else. Just like eating the ice cream bars in the rafters.
And muffins.
One other thing that came out through this as well is that that starting, I think it was the 9th of June, AEW All Access is going to be on HBO Max, which doesn't affect us at all, but obviously it affects Americans. There's also been, nothing's been kind of confirmed on this, but there's also been a lot of kind of heavy speculation that All In's going to air on HBO Max, and that's going to be what Tony's announcement tonight could pertain to.
Yeah.
As well, which would be cool if they I don't know how it would work for us over here, but because we don't have HBO Max.
We're going to watch it with our eyes, mate. We'll be right there in the room. It's fine.
No, but watching it back, and people who can't go there.
Just remember it. It'll be fine. Just remember it. Film on
He'd
your
have
phone.
to put it on Fight, wouldn't he? Anyway,
Yeah, it'll be on
'Cause that's
Fight,
what
I'd imagine. Yeah.
that's what the like the European deal is.
Well, that's some of the European deal, but whether it's ITV or there's like different things for HBO Max properties.
Remember when AEW was on ITV box office for like 3 weeks, and then ITV box office just ceased to exist?
I think it still is, isn't it?
It's on ITV4.
Yeah, no,
It's ITVX, isn't it? Like the
they
pay-per-views.
used to have a pay-per-view service called ITV Box Office, and like after like 2 pay-per-view, I think I bought the first AEW pay-per-view on box office through my
Oh my
Skybox.
God.
I feel like it died like not that long after.
Yeah, it was like 1 or 2 pay-per-views, and then it just stopped existing. And it was like, all right, now it's just on Fight then, I guess.
Because they announced the AEW deal with the announcement of ITV Box Office, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and it just didn't take off at all.
It's ironic, isn't it, that like ITV Box Office and the XFL both came back at the same time when the original XFL and the ITV Sports channel both died a death.
Yeah, and both died again.
Yeah. Well, XFL, Dwayne Sport now. And
crucially, The Rock only bought one of them, so you know.
People like the XFL better when Dwayne's there and not like
it's back now. They've been playing. You know, they're in the first season.
Yeah. They had Dwayne on the fucking first game, didn't he?
One of the games drew like 45,000 fans or something. Like after a couple of weeks, it was mad. Yeah. There you go. A bit more info on Collision. Interesting story via Jimmy Traina of Sports Illustrated, and I think it was also confirmed by Brandon Thurston as well, maybe. Apparently, the first draft of the AEW press release regarding the show, what I just read out to you, also included CM Punk's name, but that was removed.
Yeah,
there's been
something out about that just before as well.
I was about to say it's just come on Fightful, hasn't it? As well.
Yeah, literally about an hour ago. So, yeah, basically there was talk up until this morning that CM Punk was on the press release, and Punk himself had been quite vocal to Tony Khan about not wanting to be announced ahead of time for the brand. Also, interestingly, he's been very vocal in recent weeks about bringing back Human Dog, Ace Steel.
Yeah, like what the hell? No, absolutely not.
I mean,
who's he going to bite if Kenny's not there?
If they get him a muzzle, I suppose it's not too bad, is it? But it's one of them. Like,
can they wheel him in like Hannibal
really...
Lecter on like a gurney on like a?
Yeah. I have him like Garland Green from Con Air, just get him wheeled around, and Punk can be like his prison guard. But yeah, it's so odd, isn't it? Because like Ace Steel's like a really good mind for the business, but then also possibly has rabies.
Like literal wolfman.
Is actual like a dog in human skin.
Maybe that's Larry, like when he's not a dog. Maybe that's what Ace Steel is.
So interestingly then, based on this CM Punk story coming out about like him being removed from the press release, presumably at his own request. So apparently Connor Casey from comicbook.com reached out to Warner Brothers to ask about this and received the following statement from Warner Brothers. Quote, CM Punk is not affiliated with TNT AEW Collision.
Yeah.
So I think
put that in their thing as well, saying that was part of a statement they put out today as well.
So do you think this is TNT like wanting to work the marks of it? Like, you know.
I feel like they're probably trying to get like for Punk's return pop what they got for his other return pop.
Do you think they want that do you think they want that sort of willy won'ty that they had at the start of at that Rampage episode, that same sort of like, you know, suspense and sort of yeah. So that was pretty cool, wasn't it?
I think as well, like the whole kind of the thing with Punk, like love him or hate him, he's one of those people. The first like second of cult of personality, you're gonna lose your fucking mind and jump out your seat just instinctually. Just
like I did last time, even though I said I didn't care, I still woke up at 3 a.m. to watch it because I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah. It's like when Austin was heel and the glass hit, and people would still go, yeah, oh wait, we don't like that guy anymore. He's a polarizing figure, but he's always going to get a good pop.
Yeah.
if they can kind of this time sort of temper people's expectations so they don't know for definite he's going to turn up, and then he just turns up, it'll be a big surprise pop moment.
So yeah. So also speaking of the new show, got some tentative information about rosters and sort of who's going to be where. We just had a slew of names who are going to be on Collision. However, it's also reported. Well, this is a really bad article. It says, as previously reported, there's expected to be a roster split, and nothing confirmed. But obviously, CM Punk's going to be on Collision if and when he comes back. With Hanger, Moxley, and the Elite going to stay on Dynamite. It's going to be something of a hard split as well, so these people aren't going to be crossing over for the most part.
Yeah, Fightful have like a paragraph on that in the thing that they put out literally just before the announcement. They put this out, which makes me think Will Washington like sent Sean Ross Sapp a text and he frantically put an article together.
Will in the DMs, just like, yo, here's the rosters.
Yeah,
I love that Will Washington's at AEW now. It makes me so happy.
Such a fucking good man for everything. Like, he's like an encyclopedia. The guy is
just
so
imagine walking in your first day and Tony going, yeah, well, there's Collision, CM Punk, sort it out, off you go.
Yeah, fix it.
Also, Ace wants to come back, but tell him no, all right, but do it gently.
Throw him a bone somewhere else, or
might bite you. So the plan is also Summer Sapp on Fightful.
Send them to get Punk some muffins and change the locks.
Also, Summer Sapp on Fightful said
and never came back.
just wasn't let back in. You got any Kenny Omega flavored ones? Like,
have you got any Canadian sort of flavors like maple syrup or Kenny Omega?
Also, Sure Myself on Fightful reported that apparently Collision will, quote, see a big cash infusion for AEW. Obviously, it's another show. It's a 2-hour time slot. It's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
As of last week, belief is that there's a soft roster split for Collision and Dynamite. However, they're told that there was expected to be a hard. They were told that talent is expected to be a hard brand split, with the exception of champions. So champions are going to be able to cross over.
And it also says on that some rare exceptions.
A few extra exceptions.
Which, I mean, you'd assume that's people who are happy to kind of just cross over wherever.
Nothing's mentioned about how the roster's going to be split, whether there's going to be a draft or some other sort of procedure.
No draft. No draft.
I wouldn't mind a draft.
No, but what if eventually, like, they just, like, sort of move past everything and then they're like, okay, it's fine now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's what Will Washington's whole job is.
A draft feels a bit too WWE, doesn't it? It feels a bit too specific. Like, I don't think I'd want that.
But I don't know, because it's just like a sports thing, isn't it? It's like the NFL draft, the NBA draft. They do it every year.
I know Tony Khan, he actually owns an NFL team, so he does know how to do a draft, doesn't he? So
yeah. He doesn't know how to do a transfer window for Fulham, though. That doesn't usually go too well.
Yeah, he did all right. Did all right this year.
Did all right this year, yeah. But previous years.
Yeah. The only thing is, so if they did do a draft, there aren't any like authority figures on either show that could like be there to be drafting.
What they could do is, so when WWE did it, when they did the Fox announcements, so they had like a room full of Fox execs and a room full of USA execs.
Yeah, but that was a lame shit they wanted, so you know.
I thought it was quite fun. But what they could do is basically have like a representative of TBS and a representative of TNT. Obviously, they're the same kind of pair and company, but
can they both be like, Jerry Lynn but with different hair?
Gonna be like the Hunger Games.
Can it be Christopher Daniels but with like just like one half of his head like sort of
just wearing like, an eye patch on a different eye for each company?
Yeah,
maybe Dustin Rhodes, but he has it like painted either side.
one face, stands. Yeah, he's got like the Dynamite colours on one side, and like he's got the Collision colours on the other side of his face paint.
And then he stands the camera angle.
He just turns around like that really racist Roddy Piper promo from years ago.
Don't worry about it. What was interesting as well was they didn't have the TNT champion on the poster.
No,
but on the kind of like
it is Wardlow, right?
It is Wardlow, yeah.
I fucking forget. It's like it's hard to keep track of.
Well, Hobbs was on the poster.
So they did have the oh no, wait, no, he lost it like 2 weeks ago, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So when they made the poster, he was
he didn't have
the belt.
He didn't have the belt on the poster.
You were like, when he made the post, you're like, do you want me to move the belt? Like, probably best not, mate, just in case.
But one thing that was noted was on the it was called the Warner Brothers Discovery. What was it called? I've just lost the bloody link now. Doesn't matter anyway. But when they did the sort of thing where they were showing all the different channels, Jade Cargill was the face that they used for TBS, which is nice.
I mean, it is that bitch show, so
she is the TBS champion still.
Yeah, the face that runs the place. So we'll move on from AEW news because I think that's pretty much.
Well, should we talk about the other AEW news?
Well, you've got more AEW news.
That the game is imminent.
Oh, the game, yeah. Oh, okay.
Is it though?
Well,
yeah, it is.
It's more imminent. It's more imminent than it has been.
So, a few things. First of all, obviously, you were able to pre-install it for a little while yesterday, which it has been taken down because those bloody data miners got hands on it. And now the game's been data mined to shit. But not leaked, oddly. Just a few images have been leaked. So normally that doesn't happen unless the game is usually about 6 weeks to 2 months out. They'll start doing stuff like that. So that would indicate a window. Also, Fightful did put something up about this, saying that they were told to expect a announcement soon, and that the current kind of working time is sometime after Forbidden Door, shortly after. Very, very briefly, a couple of retailers did have the 29th of June listed as the release date, and immediately took them down. Within 5 minutes of putting them up, they had to take them down, which would indicate that's probably the date. But yeah, and also the achievement list got leaked.
Yes,
as well.
I'm just gonna ignore all leaks and spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for it. The only real image that's come out, there's a guy called What the Status who data mines the WWE games to do a lot of cut content and stuff like that, and he literally put something up and deleted it straight away, and then put a gif of Britt Baker up saying I didn't see anything THQ, and just put hashtag AEW Fight Forever. But before that, he basically had all the files, so he's probably going to be working on day one content for the community creation stuff, you'd assume. And the other thing that come out today was a picture of CM Punk's character model making his entrance.
Yes, yeah, I did see that,
which looked fantastic. It's still the same sort of cartoony stuff from the trailer. I really like that art style. It reminds me of WWE All Stars and No Mercy.
Don't you thought about WWE All Stars?
No Mercy is one of my faves.
All Stars is the GOAT. Not as a wrestling game, just as a fun wrestling adjacent game.
Just a thing. I still check sex every time I go in for it just to see if they got it.
I've still got my copy on PS3.
I just don't think I've got any console that'll play it anymore. Sadly,
I've still got my PS3 and my copy on PS3. I'll bring it to the brewery next time you're doing a game stay tasting.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'm actually, at the end of the month, if you're out, I'm going to set a tally up and stuff. So, yeah.
What date?
It's the 20-something. I already announced on the socials, yeah. 27th.
Not the 24th.
27.
Oh, good.
28th,
I want to go to Infamous and then we can do that another day.
Oh, yeah, no, 27th. Anyway, keep your eye on Top Rope Socials for that this week when I'm going to be posting about it. Right, so that's AEW finally done. Speaking of AEW getting a fat cash injection, someone else who's getting a fat cash injection is Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I saw that. Fuck me.
Homeboy's getting paid.
He's getting that Disney money.
Yeah, he signed a $10 million per year deal with ESPN.
So this is insane because he initially I can't remember it was originally where he was getting $4 million a year off of them. So the fact that he's just been said, he just said, "We'll buy it out and then we'll give you this on top."
So he's also in the second year of a 4-year, $120 million contract with FanDuel.
That's crazy money.
Maybe that's what I thought it was when I said 4 million. Maybe it was just 4 years. But yeah, good on Pat. He deserves the best things. He's such a fucking cool guy.
I mean,
I love Pat so much.
What kind of sucks here though, is Disney are in the process of laying off 7,000 people.
Wonder why.
So they can have just one Pat McAfee.
It's like, I'm sorry, Bill. I know you've worked here for 20 years. I know you like made Pocahontas, but Pat McAfee does need a third bathroom.
I mean, if he made Pocahontas, he fucking deserves to be sacked. Like you've probably picked the worst thing for a fucking example there, Tasty.
Pocahontas is fine. I know
like Pocahontas.
Actually, no, you could have picked Song for the South, I suppose.
Yeah. That's like, I know you created Goof Troop, but we don't need that anymore. We do need Pat McAfee, so
Disney 100% does not like to acknowledge Song of the South in any way, shape, or form these days, so it's fine.
They were like, we were going to give you a Goofy movie too, but then Pat McAfee became available, so I've got him instead.
If you're waiting for Inside Out 2, don't hold your breath. You see Pat McAfee reacting loudly to NFL results. That's all you're going to get now.
Yeah.
So yeah, good on Pat. I mean, good on Pat. Fair play to him. Man's making bank. He's doing the work, isn't he? So. Yeah.
Yeah. As I say, it's someone awesome it's happening to as well. It's like,
you might not see him on WWE anytime soon. Is all we're saying.
Oh.
He's rolling with a mouse now. That's yeah.
Well, big
business.
They own Fox, and he was a commentator on SmackDown, which is on Fox. So there's every possibility.
Mouse business.
It's just the mouse house always wins. Yeah. Any other WWE news? We've got loads. I just know
Seth Rollins.
Do you want to talk about Seth Rollins? Go on, Faye. Talk to us about Seth Rollins.
He's been captured on set on Captain America.
When you say captured on set, not like in a net or something, like, I mean, he's been.
I don't know. Maybe he was.
Like, I mean, they just put a really gaudy jacket under a cage, and when he went to try it on, they just dropped the cage on
him. he may have been in character. He may not have been. Who's to know?
This is what I said to Nat today, because I was like, I had to take like a couple of minutes to sit there and think, is that a costume, or is that just one of his outfits?
So apparently he is going to be playing the character Serpent, I think it was, that I saw. Yeah. Who is a character who has an outfit made out of snakes, if I remember rightly.
I mean, that seems like right to his alley, doesn't it, really?
100%.
Yeah. I was talking to Troy about it yesterday, because he sent me the picture. Like, I thought it looked more like he was going to be Gravitron, who is quite like a important baddie for the Thunderbolts, and obviously it would tie in nicely with the Thunderbolts. But no, probably just a minion. Well, not minion. What's the word? Henchman. That's the one. Yeah, this is cool to see Seth in the MCU. There was talk as well of Becky Lynch was meant to be obviously joining the MCU at some point, as Damian Priest was someone who as well was approached. He looked
very good, or in the DC universe for me.
He was approached for a role in Quantumania, and I don't know, I can't remember why exactly he didn't get it in the end. I don't know if it was like scheduling conflict or something. But yeah, it's cool to see wrestlers getting stuff like this, because obviously they are playing a character week in, week out. People forget sometimes, like, some of them could be very good actors.
Oh yeah.
Look at Dave Bautista.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd say if you want more WWE Hollywood rumors, there's a lot of talk on the Twitterverse. Gotta hate that word. That Roman Reigns might be headed to Hollywood and might be taking an even lighter WWE schedule in the coming months.
Yes.
Where would you put him in Hollywood?
I mean, he's already been in a Fast and Furious film, hasn't he?
He's already in the Hobbs and Shaw verse.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. It's funny that he played The Rock's cousin in a film.
Yeah, and had no lines.
No, he didn't. Which is mad because like Roman, like love him or hate him as a character. The
He's
guy's
fantastic,
like,
isn't he?
oh, he's such a good fucking actor. Like
he did.
Do you think we could replace him with replace Jason Momoa, Roman Reigns, and anyone notice?
I think they're probably going to try and replace Vin Diesel with Roman Reigns, the way the Fast and Furious films again. That way, him and the Rock will be on screen at the same time. Like,
don't worry about it. Yeah, slightly WWE adjacent news. A name has been copyrighted, trademarked, whatever you want to call it, for the merged company of WWE and UFC.
I was just about to go into that, yeah.
I was getting it up while you were talking about Hollywood, ready for it.
I got distracted by Hobbs and Shaw, as I always do.
Yeah. It's going to be TKO Group Holdings.
Yes.
And they'll be trading on the New York Stock Exchange as TKO. No word yet if there's going to be any kind of like crossover events. But yeah.
Does that mean no blood now because they're trading again?
I mean, UFC stars blood because it shoot. And Brock Lesnar's shoot like opened his face up a backlash.
I think he did that just to like assuage Cody.
But Brock just does it when he feels like. Brock, that's just Brock in general. He just every now and again will open his face up.
On a completely unrelated note, a podcast I was brought to the attention of a podcast my friend listens to called Behind the Bastards. On where you get your good favorite podcast, where you get your Untitled Wrestling podcast, maybe have a look to that as well. It's basically focused on the worst people throughout history, and they've just started this week a 6-part series on Vince McMahon.
I saw that because you sent me it. I cannot wait to.
It's very good. So the first episode doesn't really talk about Vince. It talks more about like the sort of formation of the NWA in the early days of wrestling, and then it finishes with like a half-hour, really depressing run through of the Von Erich family.
Oh boy!
Yes, that was.
Listen to that in the office.
Yeah, that was.
I
fun.
can't listen to this podcast anymore because I'm on it. I used to watch. I used to listen to the news.
Right, Tasty, we're going to have to turn Faye off, so we got our viewership back up.
Bump them numbers up. Yeah. Also, I don't know who hosts it. I don't know the guy's name, but he sounds a little bit like Dalton Castle, which I really like. So.
Oh, great! I love that.
Yeah.
Big fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to learn all about George Hackenschmidt and Fritz von Erich and his cursed family, yeah, it's a real good one. And
the Dark Side of the Ring episode on that is fascinating. It's a hard watch, but it's fascinating. Another sort of WWE thing quickly as well is that apparently Imperium are getting a new member, and that is going to be Ilya Dragunov, friend of the podcast.
How funny would it be if it was one of the Von Erichs after all that?
Well,
it's Marshall Von Erich, everybody.
Marshall and Ross Von Erich, their contracts with MLW have just expired today.
Hey,
wow.
Here we go. This is synergy, baby.
While being topical.
I mean, this is a reminder that Fritz Von Erich used to dress as an actual Nazi, like with swastikas on his gear.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so these guys seem like they're quite they've been getting quite a lot of like stuff right very recently, very quickly. Boozer Wrestling, who are now going by Better Wrestling Experience, they've said
that was the account that had the Roman story about him having a light schedule.
Yeah.
So
they've also said that Ilya Dragunov's set to join Imperium, and that after Night of Champions, DIY are getting a renewed push, which I'm sure
into the bin because they're a tag team.
Well, no, as a tag team because it's Triple H.
But you have to have other tag teams to push tag teams. You can't just push a tag team in a vacuum.
They've got plenty of tag teams now.
They've got one, and they're feuding with the other only one. So
no, they've got Imperium, they've got Judgment Day, they've got Street Profits. Pretty Deadly, yes, boy.
Fine, like, do it this time then. Fucking do it properly, dickheads.
Hey, Tasty, we might be getting Stina Rico versus DIY. Chill your bean.
I'm not going to watch it though, because fuck WWE.
That's true. Very true.
Sorry.
I mean, Sarah might watch it, so then
I might hear it in the background while I'm like,
you might see it.
Yeah.
You might see it at the corner.
You can't see. This isn't a video podcast, but I'm wearing my DIY t-shirt today.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. Never tell you the story about this t-shirt. I wore this just before lockdown. We went to New York and DC, and I wore this when we went on our tour of the Capitol building. We were invited. I didn't Chris Jericho it.
Yeah.
And so we booked in for a tour, and like did the tour. The tour was great. If you're ever in DC, you can't tour the White House if you're in the UK because the UK consulate won't take you around because they're too busy. But you can go to the Capitol building and view that, and it's great. You go to the Rotunda, you see all the big paintings. You go to the basement, you see all the offices, you see the Speaker's office. It's really cool. If you're politics nut like me, it's really interesting. After the tour, I was just sort of hanging around. There's a gift shop, of course. There's a gift shop. And this like old ass woman, like really like raw American woman, came up to me. I actually saw on the back of my t-shirt it says no one will do it for you. It's the DIY motto. And she was like, "Oh yeah, no one will do it for you. I like that." And I was like, "Oh no, you must think I'm some like fucking raging like Reagan supporter."
Oh no.
And I was just like, "Well, yeah." And she's like, "One, you don't know I'm English. Two, you definitely don't know I'm from Liverpool, and I'm therefore a raging socialist." And also, I'm like fucking 33. Like Reagan died before I was born, so I have no affinity to Ronald Reagan. But anyway, yeah, that just upset me. And every time I put this t-shirt on, I think about that, and it makes me sad.
You need to assign new memories to that t-shirt for sure.
Yeah, I need to wear it to like an indie show when something cool happens. Yeah, any more news? Probably wrap it up and move on to some wrestling talk. There's stuff on Steve Macklin. Do you want to hear about Steve Macklin?
Yeah, go
on. So he knew a month before he won the Impact title that he was going to win it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all did. He was probably going to be the guy to take the belt off Josh Alexander before he got hurt anyway.
Yeah, so
they've been like slow building the shit out of Steve Macklin. Very good wrestler.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan's injured.
Oh, what? That's bad.
She was scheduled for a wireless meet and greet on Monday. Was replaced by Dolph Ziggler.
What?
Cricket wireless meet and greet. I thought
you meant a wireless meet and greet, as in like just like over Zoom or something.
Hologram. That's
hang on. Is it 2020 again? What the fuck's going on?
They do those meet and greets and phone shops, don't they?
That's it. Yeah. Told Fightful that it was because Morgan was injured in a tag team title defense alongside Raquel Rodriguez against Damage Control. We haven't heard the severity of the injury, where the spot happened. However, Liv Morgan was slated to team with Raquel on Monday's Raw to defend the tag team titles against Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. We're told that match is set to change. We haven't learned as to what will become of the women's tag team titles. And the match has not been promoted on social media either.
I mean, I'm sure they'll just forget about the tag team titles again like they did last time.
Sounds about right.
I mean, yeah. They brought Ronda and Shayna back on Raw, so I imagine they're probably gonna get the belts and do nothing with them.
And Bray Wyatt is still listed as with WWE. He's just not on the roster list due to his health problems he's having at the minute.
Yeah, it's very vague. Obviously, with Bray, he's got like a history of like mental health problems and also other health problems. So you just kind of hope he's all right.
And the backlash to his match was pretty severe.
Yeah.
So you'd like to think maybe, hopefully, he can like. I just want him to be in a good. I just want him to have a nice time. I just want him to be in a good storyline and like have nice matches and not have to do fucking Mountain Dew blackout fucking Bo Dallas botching off a fucking ramp match.
I mean, the one thing of note with Bray is that he got assigned a new writer a couple of weeks back, so that would indicate that they're obviously working towards some kind of return.
Hopefully they shot the guy who wrote the last story.
Bray
brought him out back like old.
It was Bray, mate.
I'm pretty sure Bray didn't go up to Hunter or Vince or whoever the fuck's running the company now and say, "Can I please do a Mountain Dew blackout match, please?"
Oh no, that was like just WWE doing the whole thing of trying to like add advertisements to matches where they don't need advertisements.
Yeah, so
like the Ray and Dominic Cinnamon Toast Crunch grudge match from WrestleMania.
Here is a grudge match between a father and son, and also here's the sin emoji. having a little dance. Look at him go. Isn't he cute?
I mean, are you excited for the Castlemaine 4X grudge match that we're going to get on the 2nd of September? Because apparently WWE have got a major event, like a pay-per-view in an international location thought to be Australia, happening on that date.
What, Bronson Reed versus Grayson Waller, sponsored by Victoria Bitter.
Hey, if like that's the thing though, who else, like they've got Rhea, I suppose, haven't they? Like Rhea main event.
Watch them play Knifey Spoony in the ring for 10 minutes.
I feel like that was specifically for Joe.
Have Rhea Ripley do her old entrance, but with that massive kicking boot.
Yeah. What, the boots from The Simpsons?
Boot, yeah. Like her old entrance where she did the stomp. Yeah, I do think that is all the news.
I've got one or two more things. Okay. I want to end on something like a bit weird. But first of all, Ricky Starks has trademarked his name.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's always nice to see. And finally, I want just to read this article because it was just it's a Gene Snitsky article, and we don't think enough about Gene Snitsky. I don't think he's in the public consciousness enough. So the headline is Snitsky says Vince McMahon was, quote, hands-on with his WWE storyline, recalls punting baby.
Gene Snitsky recently returned to wrestling and looked incredible.
He was in MLW, wasn't he?
He was in the MLW Battle Riot, which is like MLW's version of the Rumble, but it's like the Rumble on like all of the fucking Lucha Underground inspired drugs that you can find. Because
I'm still totally stuck on punter baby. I'm gonna be honest. Like that entire sentence sounded like a fever dream.
Have you never seen this?
It wasn't his fault.
No. What?
I thought that would have got a bigger pop from you there, Tasty.
So basically, apparently before the baby punt occurred, so he punted a fake baby into the crowd, basically.
I vaguely recall this.
Basically, WWE did a storyline in 2004, I think it was.
Just when Kane got Lita pregnant.
Yeah, Kane basically won a match to be allowed to impregnate Lita because, you know, wrestling. And then after a while, they went from hating each other to liking each other. Bit of Stockholm syndrome. Snitsky hit Kane with a chair and Kane fell on a pregnant Lita and she had a miscarriage. And then shortly after that, Snitsky wrote Kane off telly for a bit so he could deal with injuries, and then did this promo where he booted a fake baby into a crowd, which is like become a meme.
So do you want to hear what went down on the day of the baby punt? So apparently
yes,
Vince was from backstage, and this is quote. Vince says, "Hey, we're gonna do this. You know, whatever you do, don't fuck this up." And then he said, "Listen, Mr. McMahon, I was gonna be a punter in high school. This is gonna be amazing. Trust me." He said the funniest thing about that was the little fake baby sounds, and I walked out with the baby doll. I'm thinking to myself, this is freaking great. Like, I'm trying not to laugh while I'm doing this skit because it's so ridiculous. And I'm like, this is awesome. So I get in there and, you know, I do the whole deal with the baby and punted it. It's crazy. Looking back on it, I didn't think anything of it. It was just another day at the office. But, you know, it's kind of grown a life of its own. 19 years later, we're still talking about it.
Yeah. And we
should stop talking about it.
He's somehow in, like, better shape now than he was then. It's like looks like it fucking shredded when he came out at MLW.
Yeah, so there you
Which
go.
has now just been added to Fight, by the way. MLW Fusion.
Well, Fight Plus.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. I have to check that out.
Sweet. Right then, yeah. Should we go and talk about some AEW wrestling?
Yes, please.
Because there's a lot to talk about. I think we'll just have to like sort of pick through it and sort of pick up those bits.
I think we should skim AEW because we've got some other stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's just do the matches, shall we? So, Claudia v Phoenix, double Jeopardy match. This was very good.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I liked that at the very end. Claudia basically picked him up for the Ricola bomb, like, off the floor, and then, like, just dropped him.
That was dirty, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was brutal. It was really good fun.
It was almost as upsetting as the one Claudio did on Robbie Eagles the other week.
Well, that was a crime.
Where he like kept him straight jacketed all the way down. It was like, what do you do, Claudio? You lunatic.
Yep, we got a match announced for Double or Nothing,
We did.
which was going to be Triple J versus FTR with Mark Briscoe as special guest referee.
Oh, and this broke my heart because like they accidentally attacked Mark.
Yeah, FTR got blinded and accidentally like piled over Mark.
Because that would be my instinct if I got tequila like spat into my eyes. I'd instantly go to pile drive or
Just
somebody.
pile drive someone now. It's the only way.
So someone knocks into me, I'm like, that son of a bitch.
It's the best way to get tequila out of your eyes.
I'm going to take you to Savah, throw tequila in your face and watch you pile drive one of the bouncers. It'd be great.
Yeah. You know, if they've got no salt and lime, I'll just pile drive someone instead. It's fine.
On the bar.
Then sour.
We also had... Oh, sorry. So after the first match, we had a surprise Miro appeared.
We did. I popped like a motherfucker with that.
Oh my god. I know.
He went straight into Uncle Tony's office for some of that good.
Or Pappy Tony, as Thunder called him, which was weird.
Yeah, we did also. Yeah.
I like the idea that no one ever comes out of Tony's office. It's just little Rescue sat in there, like, talking over each other.
It's just him with a mountain of cocaine, like Scarface, on his desk. Like,
and he never shares.
Yeah, no, of course not.
I don't know. That was the most composed I've ever seen Tony Khan on like any kind of AEW thing ever.
He was doing a live bit to camera, and he didn't look like a panicked muppet. So it was.
He looked really calm and really relaxed. Maybe
he's just being scared.
I always get the feeling like he's about 3 seconds away from like throwing his hands up there like a muppet and like waving them around and then just running off like the side of the screen.
Like
Yeah.
He does have big Scooter from the Muppets energy.
Yeah. Just him and Juice Robinson. I need them on the Muppets, please.
Yes. I mean, Juice Robinson is a Muppet. Like he is. He's that like big one with the the big shaggy one.
Sweetums.
Sweetums.
Next up, we had a match announced. We had a match announced for next week, which was Jericho versus Cole. JS banned from the
Roderick, yeah.
Jericho versus Roddy. Sorry, Jericho said he got Cole banned from the building, but then Roddy comes in and he's like, "Yo, we're gonna have a match next week. Falls Count Anywhere." And Jericho's like, "Ah, you idiot! If it's Falls Count Anywhere, JS is gonna beat the shit out of you." He's like, "No, I've also got the JS banned from the building," and that was kind of funny.
The most legal of documents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart Mark Sterling just sells them like a fiver, like, and they're not real.
I'd like to think that Roderick Strong just threatened to backbreak a Mark Sterling unless he like wrote something up for him.
So yeah, all right. So just after what we talked about then, I've got written down here about Tony's like pre-announcement on Dynamite.
His announcement for his announcement following announcements.
He said, "It's clearer that AEW can produce more great content every week. Obviously, this was setting up for Collision." He said there will be a huge announcement next week on Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
So on Fightful.
And then, but his actual words were, "We'll follow up on one of the most important announcements ever in AEW," which presumably is the one we had earlier today.
Yeah, so on Fightful they've got it written as that he says a major announcement will be coming next week from TNT, which will be followed up on. So yeah, he did actually say there will be something announced prior to Dynamite, which they'll be given more details about on Dynamite, which, yeah, you've got to think it's this. As I say, I wouldn't be surprised if it was, because he said it was the biggest announcement as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it was something to do with All In, because that is the biggest announcement they've ever made. I personally think it could be that All In's going to be on HBO Max.
And they're going to announce a new partnership with HBO Max, with shows on HBO Max in America, because like that's what
they have announced that All Access will be moving to HBO Max.
It's just called Max now. It's not HBO Max anymore.
Oh, sorry, Max.
Yeah.
Max, as in for MJF. That was named after.
I think we just need to get Max the Impaler in to AEW to promote this.
Yes, I would love that.
There's not enough Maxes in AEW.
No, we've got Max Caster, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, get Max the Impaler. Yeah, sorted. Next up, Orange Cassidy v Daniel Garcia. A bad time for bad bitches.
The baddest time for bad bitches.
It was a phenomenal match, to be fair. I absolutely fucking loved it. The like sort of transitional like the submission transitions towards the end were absolutely phenomenal. Daniel Garcia.
Thought Daniel had it,
Some of them submissions were fucking horrible, weren't they?
Orange ain't losing that belt anywhere but pay-per-view, I think, no. It's at that point, isn't it, where like Orange shouldn't lose the belt anywhere but pay-per-view.
But
Or maybe
it.
the first episode of Collision. Maybe that's the big hook.
I really like though how it's gotten to the point where his hand's like so fucked that he can't win with the orange punch anymore. He has to use the mousetrap.
Yeah, I love the whole kind of story that like Orange is slowly breaking down more and more, and like he's gonna hold that belt till like his body gives out essentially.
Which is a really like funny juxtaposition of his original character. Is like he was the guy who didn't try, and now he's like having to try like so much that it's like literally breaking him.
And he was like the bit where afterwards, after the match, he was like, "I'm just really tired, Renee."
Oh, that was so heartbreaking.
Got me there.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm so tired." Oh, that was.
I think that
and she was like, "Yeah, me too, buddy." And like, it's like, "Yeah, you're probably so tired worrying about your husband."
Yeah.
The thing is as well. Like I was talking, this little spoiler of a tidbit from my next fantasy book on AEW. I was talking to the guests on that Quintessential, and we were all like, "Yeah, that's probably the most important belt in AEW right now." Because of everything that Orange has done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like 20 title defenses. That's insane.
Yeah.
Next up, Christian Cage gets fucking booed out of the building.
He can't help himself, can he?
No.
It's bad, isn't it?
This was like the week that Christian remembered that Wardlow's dad is also dead.
Oh, God.
You've been saying it, and I was like, "That's really funny, haha." And then it happens, and I was like, "Oh, shit."
He did it.
He actually said, didn't he? He said, like, why do so many wrestlers in AEW have daddy issues?
Yeah, like that's what it's for. That's it.
Oh. Christian's either going to take the belt off Wardlow or die, or both.
Yeah.
Both is good.
But it was an interesting thing he said, though, because he talked a lot about Arn being partnered with Wardlow and how Arn's basically abandoned his own child to be Wardlow's dad.
So not only has like Wardlow not got his dad, neither has Brock Anderson.
Yeah.
I want Christian to adopt Brock Anderson as his new Jungle Boy.
And then immediately abandon him and be like, "See, now you don't have a dad."
Even call him Jungle Boy Brock Anderson.
Yeah.
And then batter him in front of his mum and like flirt with Arn's wife.
Well, this was a really good promo. Like Christian, this is where Christian sort of excels, isn't it? When it's like just him being a fucking bastard and everyone just like giving him just the absolute.
Everyone shouting
barrels.
Edge is better, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The thing with Christian now though is like he's so fucking good on the mic, which we already knew. But it's to the point now where like when he does eventually wrestle again, everyone's just excited to see him get his ass kicked. And then the fact that it's going to be a good match as well is just like a nice consolation on top of that.
Mm.
Oh yeah, he's a really good wrestler. He is like, and as long as he doesn't wrestle too much, you don't kind of get sick of it, if that makes sense. So he's fun to watch, but like, I think when he's constant, like when he was face, well not face, but you know what I mean? Like when he was against Kenny, he was literally wrestling all the time and it was like,
He's the type of guy now who can get away with just wrestling at pay-per-views, like, because it's a big event, isn't it? Like the last match he had was that Buried Alive match was phenomenal. Yeah, it was really, really good fun. And I like how his video package still says "worked everyone."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just fucking great.
Yeah. Next up, we had a Darby promo with his dad and the skateboard park that he built in his house. Darby's just like what if Bam Margera went like the other way, isn't he?
Yeah.
What if Bam Margera done right?
Yeah. What if he just said no to drugs instead of yes to all of them? And yeah, he basically just said he wants to. Oh, this was on the news like this week or last week. Darby said he wants to climb Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and MJF was like, "Go now before Double or Nothing."
Yeah, do it before Double or Nothing. Yeah, it was like yeah. So that was fun. Again, not helping the comparisons between Sting being his dad. Sting was also there, just hanging out at the house.
That was something I forgot to mention on the news actually for a weird story. Did you see that MJF wrestled for an indie this weekend?
Well, no, it was Creative Pro Homecoming. So,
well, yeah.
Oh.
So he went
wrestling school.
He went back to Creative Pro for like he was only meant to be signing, but then he ended up having a match as well.
Yeah, which is insane.
Does he have a match against?
It's no one I'd recognise. Just another trainee, basically, or like an alumni. So it was basically like a homecoming. Like so, all the alumni of Creator Pro, which is Pat Buck's school, right?
Yeah. Pat Buck and Matt Cardona and Brian Myers are trainers there as well. And I think Mikey Whipwreck as well.
So that's the school that Max Caster went to, as well as Jeff and Trent. Yeah, and so they had a load of their alumni come back from like recent graduating classes to sort of a few wrestled, and like MJF was meant to just be signing stuff because he put like his prices up, but then he ended up. I don't know if it was like a surprise or whether something happened that he stepped in, but yeah, he got in the ring and wrestled, and it was there was like 500 people there. It was packed out.
They've put the match on their YouTube like immediately after.
Well, Matt Cardona streamed it on his Twitch channel. on the Major Wrestling Podcast Twitch channel.
Matt Cardona's gone full carny at the moment, and I love
it. Yeah, right. So
he's
next
dressing like Indiana Jones, by the way, Matt Cardona at the minute. It's great.
Really,
because he's the indie god.
I can't wait till he comes back to Liverpool later this year and we just get the shit all over again. It'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him to sign my trading card and watch his face. That'd be
great. Next up, Julia Hart, Anna Jay, no holds barred match. I really enjoyed this.
She's awesome.
I couldn't tell whether Julia was legitimately hurt or whether she just sold really well, because she sold her hip for like the second half of the match. When she took that suplex off the chairs, she screamed like really loud and then like really sold her hip to the point where I was concerned they were going to stop the match.
Yeah. Yeah, both women have just improved so much in this, haven't they?
My only gripe with this match was Anna Jay cutting the entrance short. Because the entrance was
Julia's
so
entrance.
good.
You've got to respect the house. I'm sorry, it's just the rules.
The house always wins.
Well, she did, because after a little bit of back and forth after that, Julia locked in her submission and Anna tapped out, which was
heartless.
Great. Yeah, it was great. Good to see her. Next up, then we had more House of Black action. I loved the little bit at the start. Where,
no witches at ringside.
Yeah, the interview like Chuck, Trent, and Orange, and they're all like talking, and Renee's like, "What's your stipulation?" Because you have to pick a stipulation. And Trent's like, "Yeah, tell him, Chuck." And Chuck's like, "I don't know. I didn't know we had to pick a stipulation."
I love how checked out Chuck was in this like promo. Like, I don't know.
He was like,
I don't want that spooky witch girl at ringside.
Yeah, no. Trent was like, all right, then all witches are banned from ringside.
Oh, so funny.
I like that. Like Chuck Taylor's go-to with stuff like that is always to either call somebody a pervert or spooky, or both.
Or both, yeah.
Or both, yeah.
Still my favorite.
I can't wait for him to call Switchblade a knife pervert to his face. That's gonna be great.
One of my favorite most recent BT bits was when everyone left best friends and Chuck was like talking to Silver and Reynolds, and he was like, "Are you guys still spooky? Are you guys still perverts?"
Still perverts, yeah.
That was excellent.
I love Chuck Taylor. He's fantastic.
When he was cutting like Wheeler's like face off the shirt and Trent, you could see his nipples through the shirt.
Yeah.
Right where his nipples were. It was like, oh, that was perfect. Really, really fun match again. House of Black, House Rules match. We talked about this on like while it was happening on Discord. I really liked the low lights. I thought that
it was so good.
The thing is, like, when we were talking about it as well, we kind of touched on this. So obviously, like, it's one of those things where if it's done right, it's really fucking good. But if it's done bad, it's terrible. And this was done. This felt like it was done right because it was subtle.
See Mountain Dew match. See House of Black match.
Well, even like to go back further, like when the Fiend used to have like red lighting, or Kane when he started that red lighting and stuff like that. And it's like it's just overkill. Whereas this, it was nice because it was just the entrance screen,
wasn't it?
And it was like the banner around the top of the arena, and it was just like. It was just all black with like sort of like white embers just sort of flashing up on them.
Yeah, and the titles as well. Ugh.
Yeah. It looked, and then the spotlights on the ring.
Yeah, it was great. Even like the graphics, like this, the graphics going around like the seating area, which was
yeah on the banner. Yeah. What was really good about it, I thought as well, was like with the ringside where you could just see the silhouettes of like Brody King and Buddy just like killing people while Malachi sat in the ring like a fucking cult leader.
It was like a horror. It felt like a low budget horror film. Didn't
it was like something of a Lovecraft novel, just like looming out of the fucking darkness. And like, oh, it was great.
I I think the House of Black needs to hold these belts for a long fucking time.
Forever.
Also, because obviously, like last week when we were talking about it, I didn't notice the belts had changed. From actually going back and looking at it, I love the fact that it's just like literally they've just drained all the color out of them.
Yeah.
So they're just silver versions. Just silver and black versions of the belt. It looks fucking phenomenal.
But the silver's really bright as well. Like it's not like a grey silver. It's like almost white.
Yeah.
That'll fade over time.
As we all expected, Chuck Taylor ate a massive Dante's Inferno for the win here.
Oh.
Every time they book best friends, Chuck must be like, right, what move do you want me to take for the finish?
I need more Bandido and Buddy Matthews in my life though.
Yeah, the one thing that the first like 2 minutes of Smash showed me is that I really want Buddy and Bandido to have a singles match, please.
I just would like Buddy to have a singles run, to be honest, at this point. Like,
yeah,
I've always known it because obviously, like, from watching him in WWE and that, and then when he got released, it was like, all right, now it's time for Buddy to shine. He had that match with Okada and then did fuck all for like months.
Yeah.
But he's so good. Just awesome.
Yeah. Then we had another vignette about Jungle Boy. We had one about Sammy at the start, didn't we, as well, to be fair. We did just didn't talk about it because it's Sammy. But this one was like Jungle Boy in his sort of home, like wrestling ring in his back garden, like sort of talking about his like journey into wrestling. Interestingly, they had Christian talking about him in like a positive light.
I like this because so with the Sammy one, they had obviously Jericho talking about him in like his dark side of the ring voice. Or almost like it made it feel like it was like a real kind of like combat sport thing.
Yeah.
Like when you see like the training vignettes in like UFC and like it's all like the fighters coaches and like ex-opponents talking about like the fight, like that fighter. It was cool. And obviously like in the Sammy one, it was Jericho talking about how he didn't bring Sammy in to mentor him. He brought him in to basically be like his, to follow in his footsteps sort of thing. And then like Christian saying, "Oh yeah, I hate Jungle Boy, but he's the best talent, like best young talent in the company."
He said
he was the best. Pulls his head out of his ass.
Yeah, he said he was the best one out of all the pillars, and that's why he chose him basically when he first came to AEW.
But yeah, I thought it was very well done.
Right then, onto the main event. Sorry, it's time for Faye's weekly totally normal reactions.
Oh my god! This match, guys.
This
match had everything before the bell.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah.
Brian
Danielson. Just talking about how much of a joy. That's what I was just about to say. Oh, this match, man.
Brian Danielson, just like every now and again, the shot going back and him just like taking pleasure watching Moxley do like absolutely awful things to Kenny Omega.
What about the bumps that the Bucks took off the stage, man?
Yeah, so before the match even started, like Yuta and Claudio came out to attack Kenny, then the Bucks came out to attack Yuta and Claudio, then everyone got thrown off the stage, basically.
And Brian was like, "You need to stop looking at me," and then Nick Jackson immediately got like yeeted off the stage. But what I loved was the fact that Nick Jackson and Brian Danielson like confronting each other, and then I was like, "Oh shit, yeah!" Remember that banger singles match they had?
Yeah,
it was so good.
Moxley took a turnbuckle hook off the turnbuckle.
Oh my god!
And jammed it in Kenny's mouth and fish hooked him
and the tumbler had a completely normal feeling about that. I can tell you that now.
I've seen the doctored photos of that.
Yeah,
tumbler isn't real. It can't hurt me.
Promise it is. It's completely feral.
And it's all sort of built, didn't it, to the sort of flashpoint where Kenny triggered Moxley through the cage. And like landed with his leg on the sharp bit, which looked fucking awful.
I'm gonna send you guys
like I thought he broke his leg. Like
this drawing that somebody made.
No, thank you.
No, not in a weird way.
So yeah, like there was some really cool callbacks in this to like the full gear match. So obviously there was like the barbed wire steel chair. There was the Mox bringing out the broken glass. It was just really like cool, and obviously that's one of those things where that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's anime as fuck.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can see like Will Washington's kind of effect on that by saying, make sure you have a callback to this bit and this bit.
Oh,
Obviously, probably not like micromanaging the match, just maybe sort of like putting a bit of a suggestion and going, oh yeah, remember that? That was really cool.
someone pointed out that Hangman choking Moxley with the chain at his match. Kenny did that to Mox at their match of Full Gear. I didn't know that, and I saw that, and I was like, "That's fucking great! I love it
That
when
match
that
of that
happens."
Full Gear, like that No Holds Barred match, that Ending Goes match is one of my favorite matches. I think it's one of the great underrated AEW matches.
Yeah, I remember when we did our podcast on like the first year of AEW, and we all kind of unanimously picked that as like one of our favorite moments. Me, you, and Aaron. It was like, yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, I just remember
It's just
it's seared into my head, into my brain, like Moxley coming out for his entrance, like looking straight into the camera and just shouting time with some garbage wrestling.
Yeah, it's the fact as well. Like, obviously, you've got like Kenny trying to do like this
New
sort of
Japan
like
stuff.
Kenny Omega match, like very like picturesque and
Beautiful.
not well choreographed, but well sort of like thought out spots. And you've got Mox like pulling out a board full of mouse traps and just launching.
Mox is like, here's a load of glass, through you go. It's just like,
yeah.
That happened again though this time, didn't it? Like it was just
there was a
like
couple of callbacks to that match in this one, which was awesome. Yeah, Kenny, I thought I had actually broken his leg when he went through, because like his leg fell down underneath the bar of
he
the
just
cage.
crumpled overwards, didn't he? Like straight away.
Yeah. And Doc Sampson's was credit was like on top of Kenny, like, are you all right? It's like, yeah, I'm fine. But he wasn't after a while, because then Moxley got a screwdriver and Don Callis stopped Mox from using it. Kenny hits the one-winged angel and Don Callis breaks it up by stabbing Kenny in the face with it. Interestingly, given the timing of Mox covering Kenny, would Mox have kicked out?
Yeah, I thought Mox was going to kick out.
I thought Mox would have kicked out if it wasn't for the fact that Donna broke the pin up already.
Yeah, I was fully.
And how quickly he moved.
I was fully expecting Mox to be the first person to kick out and like break the spell of Kenny Omega. So either way, no matter what would have happened, he would have broken Kenny. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because the only other person, obviously other than Mad Kurt, the only other and himself, the only other person to kick out of the one-winged angel. Fuck off. Kota Ibushi. So like sort of like dispelling that whole thing of like doing that, and then either way, Mox would have kept his promise to Kenny to break his heart.
All I'm saying is Kenny needs a lover now more than ever.
He really does, because Don's got a brother, so it's fine.
Can we talk very briefly about
I'd quite
the end of BTA tying into the end of this?
Yeah, I was going to say,
No,
just
we
on the subject of the first person to kick out of the one-winged angel, I'd quite like to see Takeshita do it. Because obviously he's kind of like the understudy of Kenny and Ibushi.
Is there Wrestle's
like
child?
It'll be like a full circle thing, passing the torch almost. Yeah, the ending of BT Tasty. Go on.
The end of BTA, so it was Kenny was he eating a Cinnabon?
No, Matt had brought him a peanut butter cheesecake.
Oh right, okay. I thought it was a Cinnabon, which I thought might have been a bit more symbolic.
He took a break during destroying Alex Reynolds' phone.
Yeah, that was great.
That was so good.
Yeah, I like the look at the end. We put it into his coffee and just kept drinking it.
that treacherous little shit.
I love when they walked in, like, and he's washing his hands like over it in the sink, and Matt Hardy walks in and goes, "Oh, you're destroying evidence, okay," and just walks out.
I'd really like someone to just tweet Kenny and have Matt Jackson just like comment on it saying blocked or something.
So first of all, Alex Reynolds was about to show Kenny what happened to Full Gear, and Matt Jackson walked in and just like destroyed his phone in front of him. He's just like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry. He just like stood on it repeatedly, and then kicked him out the locker room. But then at the end, you saw Kenny, like, he had a fork in his hand and he was like a spork, I think it was even. And I thought it might have been cinnamon, but no, apparently it was peanut butter cheesecake, which again is, yeah, a thing. I didn't know what I wanted until I saw it. And he's like thinking back, he's like all the bits and all the sort of screwdriver attacks of the BCC, and then he just starts like jamming, like with the same motion, just jamming his fork into this cake, like repeatedly. And like, yeah, I think Kenny's fucking broken.
I think we're getting Anarchy at the Arena announced tonight. Or
Not
possibly
Blood and
Blood and Guts. Now, with Blood and Guts, they usually do as a separate thing, don't they? Between like
Forbidden Door, it's June, isn't it?
yeah, usually between Forbidden Door and Double or Nothing, or Forbidden Door and All Out, depending on when they place it.
I think Don Callis is in real danger.
Yeah,
I think.
but knowing the way AEW like book things like this, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a double kind of bluff almost. So Don costing Kenny to kind of lull the Blackpool Combat Club into a false sense of security, so then Don can betray them.
Danielson was like, I literally had no idea, and he looked genuinely shocked.
Oh, Danielson like cackling like a demon while this was happening.
Danielson was fucking giddy. It was so good. Also, Don Callis whispered something into Kenny's ear after the match.
Yeah.
What did he say?
We don't know.
He said that.
I'm so scared.
He said Jericho's better because Winnipeg.
Well, this is interesting because back in the day, Don Callis turned on Jericho for Kenny, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, no, it was more Jericho attacked Don Callis to get Kenny's attention.
All right.
In the New Japan.
Now he's changed his bio.
Well, yeah, one thing is obviously there was that weird thing he had with Ospreay that one time on an episode of Rampage when Norton came with it.
Yeah.
And then he's just put that he's from Winnipeg, bruv.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's face it, we're probably getting Kenny Ospreay 2 at Forbidden Door.
Yeah. Maybe Kenny Ospreay 3 and all in.
Ooh.
It's mad that I'm going to have gone from never seeing Will Ospreay wrestle in person to seeing him twice in 2 days in August. I still can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, can we move on to Rampage?
I can't believe you've done this.
Can we blast through Rampage real quick and we get on to some news? We've got so real quick, Acclaimed versus Billy Gunn. Acclaimed and Billy Gunn versus Kip Butcher and the Blade was fun. Kip suffers beautifully.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Or Kip.
It was nice seeing Butcher and Daddy Ass hoss fight. That was fun.
I loved seeing the bit where they all scissored in the middle as well.
It was a fun match. It wasn't anything like it wasn't like a 5-star technical masterpiece, but it was just really, really fun. Yeah, good entertainment. I'm starting to really like QTV.
Yeah, me too.
I was talking to Tom Clark about this. He fucking hates it. Like, he really despises it. I was like, oh no, it's so good because it's just so like fucking tongue in cheek.
I think there's something ridiculous about it that appeals to Brits.
Well, the whole point is it's a parody of Alex Jones, isn't it? Like that kind of like sort of like conspiracy theory shock jock.
Push Harley because she's clearly the best thing in this.
I loved when Aaron Solar, when you were talking about All In, and Aaron Solar, when I heard it only holds 8,000 people.
Yeah, that was exceptional. A little treat next. We had Allysin Kay on Rampage.
I enjoyed that.
I want more Allysin Kay because I always forget how fucking awesome she is.
Yeah, she's
watching her wrestle.
Was she Sienna in TNA?
Yeah. She's just been announced actually for GCW.
Oh, nice.
I think it's this weekend.
Yeah, it was a really fun match.
Yeah,
it didn't go long. It was only 5 minutes. It looked like it was going to be a squash, but then it turned into like a pretty nice competitive little match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it is this weekend. She is in a scramble for the world title with
nice.
Masha Slamovich, Lou Fistu, Shazza McKenzie, Maki Ito, Ali Catch, and Allysin Kay.
Oh, nice.
That's amazing.
That'll be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when the Guns were in the firm. Well, now Ethan Page is recruiting them to help fight the Hardys.
It's what was interesting was he was like for old time's sake, and they were like, yeah, because we're friends. So they're kind of like alluding that the firm is no more. and has been deleted.
Well, they have been deleted. Stokely got murdered by children with.
Yeah,
worry
it's
about
fine.
Stokely's fine.
You buried him
Stuffed
under
on the couch.
buried him under the media room. You just dead under one of the couches.
Yeah, then we got Action Andretti versus Kyle Fletcher, which
So
was low-key a banger.
Yeah, this is really, really good. I think it suffered a little bit from the break being in the middle of it, but it was a really fun match. Like they had really good chemistry. Andretti looked really good again, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
Cal Fletcher's just great in the end. He's also sickening.
Andretti's awesome if you just don't have him trying to like show too much personality, because I think you can tell he's still working on that kind of side of his game, because obviously he's very young as well.
Yeah. Kyle Fletcher as well, we forgot to mention, attacked Orange Cassidy on Dynamite. And
he's wrestling him for the International Championship this week.
Yeah. So nice to see Kyle Fletcher having a little run in AEW, which is it's also interesting that there's a bit United Empire creeping into the card here, you know.
Yeah, he had the singles match on ROH as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember who against them.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's a very fun match. Then we got Hardy's Guns thing, which
I mean, I enjoy it. So if Matt and Ethan Page are having a match, and if Matt wins, then Ethan Page has to work for him.
Yeah, even Jeff going, come on, Matt, like enough's enough.
But I like the idea of I just want a segment where Ethan Page has to help out around the Hardy compound. I think that'd be really fun.
I want broken Ethan Page.
I want Ethan Page helping Senor Benjamin in the garden.
Or filming the Gothic baby.
Yes.
I'd like Ethan Page when he's when he was on his way out of Impact and he kind of lost his mind and didn't realize if he was Ethan Page or the Karate Man. Just do that.
Yeah. Next up, it was main event time. Swerve basically said that Mogul Affiliates was an upgrade.
Yeah, because he was like,
he basically said Parker and Trench was shit.
He was like, yeah, Mogul Embassy's an upgrade on what I had before, and it was like, oh shit, yeah.
Like, yeah, moods. No, the funniest bit though was Dark Order trying to recruit Swerve and was like, and you even get to bring your silly hats.
Yeah.
I love that every time John Silver's doing a thing like that, he lip syncs Mark Henry doing it time for the main events as well.
Yeah. I've missed Dark Order doing that bit on Rampage, and I've missed the live face-to-face talks.
Yeah, I've missed that.
The thing is, I like how they vary it depending on who it is, because when you have like Silver and Reynolds, it really works because Silver's really funny. But when you have like, I don't know, someone who's not as quick on the draw,
confident on the,
it's not. It can be a bit awkward, which is why I think sometimes they go to like the pre-tape, which I think is a good idea.
I do quite like the pre-tape though. When it was Vikingo and Drillista
as well.
Yeah, the Vikingo and Drillistico was the one that came to mind because obviously it was like an introduction to Vikingo. So Mark narrating over that, and then the footage of Vikingo doing Vikingo things. It just felt like, again, like kind of more like a sporty sort of thing, like UFC or something along those lines. But yeah, I've missed them doing stuff like that. Big shout out to Silver and Reynolds. You just, again, one of the most underutilized tag teams in AEW, aren't they?
Just whenever they're called, whenever they're called for, they just put it in, don't they? They just put in the performance.
I desperately want them to have like not even a run with the belts, just a run at the belts, because they totally deserve it. Alex Reynolds was like wrestling on a fucking different level I've ever seen him on in this match. He was so good. Like, I
think all that Ring of Honor times really helped.
Yeah, but I think as well, because like Silver gets a lot of the spotlight, you kind of take for granted how good that Reynolds is until he's allowed. Like, he was literally holding his own with Swerve in this most of this match, and he didn't look out of place. Obviously, then Mogul Affiliates just committed crimes.
Did anybody else think that Hangman was going to come out and make the save at the end? Because I did.
No, I thought it was going to be Dustin and Keith because they're in a feud with Swerve.
Yeah, Punished
But I
Hangman
just
only
want Punish Hangman.
Punished Hangman only turns to the house shows now.
Yeah, I know.
Hangman doesn't care about the Dark Order. He's all about the Young Bucks these days.
They've
Piece
got
of shit.
cheese puffs.
Fucking cowboy carny piece of shit.
I'm going to tell Nat to listen to this podcast. I'm not going to tell why.
Let her. She'll agree with me.
Yes. So yeah, and then Keith Lee makes a save, and then obviously we are slowly getting there, aren't we? To Keith Lee v Swerve.
Yeah, well, it's
I like
in
the
Austin,
slow
isn't
build.
it? Is it this week?
Yeah.
Rampage is it Rampage is in Austin or Dynamite?
Because Uno put up on Twitter where's good places to eat.
Oh fuck! If I'd have seen that, I would have told him a really good place. That's a shame. Poor Uno. Yeah. Either way, I'm pretty sure they're doing the tag match, aren't they? First,
Yeah.
it might be tonight on Dynamite, and then
It's Dustin's hometown, isn't it?
Yeah, and Keith's.
Oh,
Yes.
then yeah.
And then I think they should do Swerve and Keith as a singles on the pay-per-view and just stick a fork in this feud because
It's done.
I love it. But at the same time, because it's been so stop and start and dragged out,
Who
I
do you
feel
think should
like
go over?
Swerve.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because I think you could have Swerve and then
Because-
yeah.
Because
like that.
Keith Lee had that big pop when he came out. So the fans are going to be behind him either way, whereas Swerve being a heel, everyone fucking hates him. But
Yeah, Keith Lee's kind of bulletproof, isn't he? Like with his booking. Like
yeah, Swerve feels like he needs like a little bit more momentum because obviously they need to build Swerve. It was a big deal for when he has that match with Nick Wayne on Dynamite. So Nick
Yeah.
Wayne can then feel like a big deal.
yeah, true.
And also like the possibilities
even
for
an
Swerve
international.
going from here. Well, the possibilities for Swerve going from here, and it's like he's teased more stuff with Darby, he's teased doing stuff with Jungle Boy.
Just running through the pillars.
You could have him just take the TNT title as his own and just fucking run that division. I personally, I want to see Swerve as world champion one day, but I think while MJF's kind of got,
I'd like to see their program.
almost
I
like
think the promos will be good.
they would, but I think Swerve's doing too good as a heel to put him in a feud with MJF because he'd end up
face.
being made a de facto face, yeah, because it's MJF and he's an asshole.
You could do him absolutely obliterating Orange's hand though. Like put it to cinder blocks and then just
with a hammer or
take the
something.
title.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
that'd be fun.
Before we close out, then, you want to talk a bit about Best of Super Juniors, bit of Nuge?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to one match on Ring of Honor that people should check out if they get an opportunity.
Is it Athena versus Sky Blue?
2 matches on Ring of Honor.
Because that was fucking incredible.
I loved that match, but I felt like that was kind of like a foregone that match was going to be banging. Blake Christian and Samoa Joe was unreal.
Like Christian again
because
also suffers beautifully.
I thought that Samoa Joe was just going to murder Blake, and then he kept having responses to the Kikina clutch.
Yeah.
And Joe showing him respect at the end, like
Yeah.
not just like the code of honor, like actual showing him respect.
I did it a bit at the start where he went for the dive and Joe just like no sold it. I was like, no.
I love that. I love when Joe does that. Fuck your dive. But yeah, also Athena and Sky Blue was incredible. That was really fucking good.
Yeah.
And yeah, either way, Ring of Honor is just fucking hitting on all cylinders at the moment. It's just, it's my,
I'm excited
I
for
think
this
it's
week.
my favorite AEW umbrella thing that they put out at the moment, just because it feels like it still feels like it's an AEW product, but it feels very much like when Ring of Honor first started getting their own TV and they had like just putting bangers on
like
and
the
not
HD,
really
the
worrying.
HD Net era.
Yeah. They were just putting banging matches on and like having like a little underlying thread of a story, but not a huge thread.
Well, it's taken the best of both worlds, hasn't it? So it's taken the sort of like anyone can show up aspect of like Dark and Elevation, where you can have all these like indie guys coming in, but they have like longer matches, like more like a Dynamite Rampage sort of deal, where they have like instead of just like getting squashed, they have like 5-10 minute matches.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Also,
I think that's
important to talk about it this week to mention Stu Grayson came out to watch the Righteous wrestle at the end.
Yeah.
I loved when the Righteous come out and Caprice was clicking and then telling himself to stop.
Like he was
just
being
because you couldn't
to.
see Caprice, he was like, stop it.
Also, Caprice and Riccaboni, I think, are possibly the best
easily
commentary pairing wrestling. And you had Nigel in there, and you know the chance of it being great drastic go up.
Yeah, I love the only other commentary table I think kind of I don't know if I want to say better or like on a par with it was the All In one where it was Riccaboni, Excalibur, and Don Callis.
Yeah,
that was tremendous.
That was such a wild thing because it was like Don Callis from Impact, Riccaboni from Ring of Honor, and Excalibur from PWG, and it was like
Don Callis from New Japan at the time.
Yeah, New Japan. Yes, it was like the three. It was like from all different facets of the wrestling world just come together. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that's what put Excalibur on the map as a commentator as well. Like people weren't really familiar with him until that, and then obviously he just fucking killed it on that, and then now he's like the voice of AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we talk about the New Japan awesomeness?
Yeah, I'm going to let you guys kick it off. I'll just run the bathroom real quick, but I'll be back in 2 seconds. Carry on with that.
No worries. Well, let's talk about, before we talk about that match, because I think Tasty will want to get in on, weigh in on that one. Should we talk about good old friend of the podcast, Drillsy Willsy?
Oh my God.
Driller having his debut against Bushi, who is no fucking slouch, and absolutely murdering him.
He's absolutely so over for him, aren't they? Like,
they gasped when he did the Driller Killer. Like they actually
because it's terrifying. Yeah.
Oh, the one he did on Yo, he deserves prison time for that. That was horrific.
You know what else as well? He's killing it at the backstage interviews as well and the press conferences.
Yeah. Did you see the one he did with Francesco Akira?
So I haven't seen that one. The one that I've just watched is today's one, and he's like,
today's.
It's brilliant. It's so good.
I've seen the match where he was basically just beating the living shit out of Master Watto, and then Master Watto just, like, quickly won.
And he was like, "It's a fluke," and then he was like, "Tanahashi, I know you've just I've just beat up your boy, your young boy," but he said, "But here I'm the senpai," and I'm just like, "What are you doing, Driller?"
Yeah, it was great when after the Francesco Akira one, where obviously Akira won with like a meteora to the back of Driller's neck, which was horrifying.
Yeah. After he'd already like took something that was like,
he took that poison rana, which was horrific.
Yeah, and it like all the weight just sort of went on his neck.
Yeah, but the way he just kind of went, Akira, you little shit! Why'd you do that to me neck?
Yeah,
like doing the backstage thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, big shout out to Driller, former TNT champion.
He looked awesome, to be fair, in that match.
I can't wait to watch it all.
Like a star. The match with Yo was awesome because it was just Yo trying to get like a little bit cute with Driller, and then Driller just fucking criming him.
When is Driller and Despy though? That is the question.
Tomorrow is Driller and Kevin Knight, which I'm really looking forward to.
So Friday's Driller and Despy.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who Driller's got left. Possibly, I don't know actually, because he's still got to face Robbie Eagles, and
I think he's done Robbie Eagles, hasn't he?
No, he's not done Robbie Eagles. Yeah.
Robbie Eagles was on commentary, wasn't he, for Driller's match against Akira, which was good.
Robbie Eagles was on commentary, sounding like Rocky Romero trying to do an Australian accent.
It was weird, wasn't
it? Yeah, so Driller's still got Clark Connors, Kevin Knight, which is tomorrow, El Desperado, and who's the other one I've just said? Robbie Eagles. So, and there's I can't remember if there's 2 more days this week and then a break, or if there's 1 more day and then a break. But I think the semis and then the finals the weekend after next, and then the semis is through the week.
I loved how
'cause-
Robbie kept referring to him as Driller instead of Maloney as well, which I thought was great.
yeah. Well, on today's match, Kevin Knight was commentating, and obviously because he's fighting Dan tomorrow, and like Kevin Kelly went, "Have you ever seen Dan Maloney wrestle?" He went, "I've only seen what he's done in this, and I'm terrified to fight him tomorrow." And Kevin Knight's a big guy, like he's no slouch. Yeah. He's really impressed me as well. But the person who's impressed me the most is my fucking guy, Speedball Mike Bailey.
Oh my god, that match!
Until this week, I was saying to you, Tasty, like Speedball's like a sort of like outlier of like wrestler of the year for me. This week, he's I think he is my wrestler of the year because he's had some really good matches across like GCW and Impact. But fuck me, like he's been hitting it on like a different level in Best of the Super Juniors. He had a really good match with Kushida, which is his only loss so far, which was essentially just who can kick the other harder in their joints. Kushida ended up winning by getting him in a double heel hook, which was horrifying.
But in this match with the one obviously that we're going to talk about now against Hiromu Takahashi, this very much started off like how many kicks will it take for Speedball to just wipe Hiromu's face off his head? Like
how much knee murder is too much knee murder?
Yeah.
Well, so I think Speedball's going to win the whole thing.
I think so as well.
First and foremost, the first thing they did was compare him to Will Ospreay's first tournament where he won it on his first time of asking. And I think he was the first Gaijin to do that. And they were like, oh yeah, Speedball wants to replicate Will Ospreay. The fact they're comparing him to Will Ospreay, who's someone they hold in such high regard, says a lot, really. Secondly, in his first match, he defeated the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, Hiromu Takahashi, who pushed the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Sanada, to the limit last week. So they've literally
made Sanada's champion.
Yeah,
great,
they've literally
what a world we're living in.
They've literally made Takahashi look like stupidly strong, only to then lose to Speedball. And this match was fucking incredible. Like, it was so fast paced. It was about 20 minutes, wasn't it? But it did not let up at all.
Yeah,
like, no, there was no breathing.
I loved the bit where they went like, because like the way the Crooked Hall's like, there's like a sort of aisle in between like two sections of the crowd as it goes back.
Yeah,
and it's just like a really long strip, and Speedball basically ran the entire length of that to just knee Takahashi in the face.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that bit where Takahashi got Speedball in the time bomb, and then he counted it to a roll up, then immediately got up and then just fucking kicked his jaw off, like the drop kick.
Yeah, like
and then the flip as well, like immediately after.
So I love like my favorite like little Takahashi thing is he was meant to be on Forbidden Door last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he got COVID.
Apparently, like the 2 days before the show or something, he was like delirious with fever. Like he had a really high fever, and like everyone was like, well, "How could you tell?"
Yeah.
How can you tell? How can you tell a Takahashi's delirious with fever because he's just fucking a lunatic anyway?
Did you see that picture that was going around from his match with their show?
No.
Where Show and Evil taped Takahashi's arms to his sides, and Takahashi jumped off like a bleacher onto them both.
Oh, I've
with his
seen
arms
that.
Still taped like together like that.
Another fun Takahashi thing. I have the year membership to New Japan at the minute, in the hopes of getting earlier Wrestle Kingdom tickets. But what it gives me access to is a load of New Japan's journals that they have to keep, and they just put up weekly things, and Takahashi's are the best reads. I'll get some for the next podcast, so like you can just see them. It's really funny. It's so good.
Takahashi,
but he came out with like a giant book, didn't he, which he'd written like about speedballing.
Yeah, so he
like a band book.
He does like a portrait of his opponents that he'll draw before, like, I don't know if it's like the first opponent he faces in the tournament or if it's like each opponent he'll do a portrait of them. And he had one of Speedball that he'd done, and he gave it to Tanahashi, didn't he?
Yeah.
Tanahashi looked genuinely sad when he was watching Speedball kick Takahashi everywhere. Probably because he remembered the match they had at Mania weekend. But yeah, I honestly think like Speedball's he's definitely getting into the semis at least.
Yeah, he's going to go
Let's
far.
have Speedball and Driller.
He's going deep.
So the way it's kind of the qualifiers work this year, it's the first time they've done it in a while, is that the two top people of each block then face each other. So like, oh sorry, face
like the G1.
Kind of, yeah, but like, so the first place and this of block A and the second place of block B, and then vice versa, will face each other, and then the winners of those matches will face in the final. So there's a very realistic possibility we could get Driller and Speedball. Obviously not at the moment given the standings, but I think on A block, Speedball's pretty much running away with it now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just trying to find the standings while we're talking. But yeah, like I know Speedball's still got to face Leo Rush and Taiji Ishimori, who are the two kind of like closest to him. I believe, I can't remember who Speedball's facing tomorrow. I want to say it's Dookie. But either way, like he's just been firing on all cylinders. His match with Titan today as well. Go and watch that. That was tremendous because he essentially, like, obviously he's very martial arts heavy, but he can also fly. And he essentially turned this into like more of like a lucha libre match, where like they were doing like dives to the outside and lots of flips, but then as soon as he needed to turn it into like martial arts heavy, he just started kicking the shit out of Titan, and then hit him with a lovely flamingo driver. But yeah, go check out all of Speedball's stuff that he's done in Best of Super Juniors, because he's been smashing it at the moment. Oh, actually, so I've just got the table in front of me. So in A block, currently 1 and 2 are Leo Rush and Taiji Ishimori, and Speedball's number 3. But it will come down if they're all tying to like how they do against each other. So Leo's beaten Taiji Ishimori. Speedball hasn't faced either of them yet. So I think that's going to be quite a decisive thing. On the other side, on B block, it's really tight. So Robbie Eagles is top. He's 4-1 at the moment. And then Francesco Akira, Desperado, Clark Connors, and Master Watto and Yo are all 3 and 2. But then Kanemaru, Dan Maloney, and Kevin Knight are all 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And Bushi's 0 and 5, and he's got no fucking chance. So it is like that's a lot more tighter, but there's a real compelling sort of like top 3 going on at A block at the moment. As I say, I'm not too sure when Speedball's facing Ishimori or Leo Rush, but they're the 2 matches I'd say that are the ones to watch out of that block.
Fair. Right. I think that's going to do us then. Coming back next week, we'll talk all about Big Gay Brunch. We'll have more of Jay's updates from Best of Super Juniors. We'll be seeing where that's getting onto, and obviously
we should have an idea of what the final.
Yeah, because the
semis.
They rattle through them, don't they? Like real quick.
Well, yeah. There's only looking at that. There's only 4 matches left, and as I say, I think there's either one more day this week and then a break and then a block of 3, or there's 2 more days and a break and a block of 2. And then there'll be the semis and the final midweek. There'll be the semis midweek, the final the weekend.
If I'm not mistaken as well, I think next week will be our last podcast before Double or Nothing as well. So.
Oh my God.
Yes, it will. Yeah.
So we'll have to do some predictions and stuff as well for that, or have a thing.
Yes.
We've got a double header of GCW at the weekend as well. They've got 2 stacked shows.
Wrestling
Sneakers for the week.
Yeah.
So
right.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So join us next week for all of the wrestling again forever. Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you later. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, yes, Danhausen here. Danhausen has been summoned. You must love this podcast housing, the Untitled Wrestling Podcast housing.